I start by saying, on behalf of myself, on behalf of my ministry, and on behalf of the government of Kenya, I send my utmost condolences to the families and friends of the lost ones, and the loved ones of those who we've lost in this very terrible crash. The president is seized of what is happening here. He is extremely concerned, and he is going to also. He has already made a statement in his social media about condolences to the families, and he is giving us full support as we even carry out investigations, but ultimately corrective measures, so that we don't see these catastrophes in the future. As a ministry, recently I announced directives related to road safety, which included retesting of drivers. You know that when I announced these measures, there were a few people who wanted to resist. But we will stand firm as a ministry to make sure that all the drivers are tested, retested, and must be found competent. Our intention is to make sure that ultimately all drivers in the Republic of Kenya or driving in our roads have valid medical certification, so that we don't have situations in the future where I don't know what could have happened in this situation, but we want to make sure that everybody is tested whether they are medically sound to be able to operate in our roads. Thirdly, the phenomena of doing business along our roads is Kenyan, and maybe not Kenyan alone, but even if you go to East African countries, people are doing business along the roads. Market stalls, hawking along the road. This is not peculiar to Londiani. This is a problem that you can get it from all the way from Mombasa to Malaba. Studies have been done before, reports have been done before that address this issue, and the thinking is to make sure that the market is removed from the immediate road reserve. You all know in Limuru, after between the border between Nyandarua and Kiambu, we used to have Soko Mjinga around the corner there, Kinale Forest, near Kinale Forest. When the market was moved out, you know that some people moved to the market, others new, and others who were operating there came back to the road. So, based on the situation we have seen here, my ministry, already we are in consultation within the ministry with the NTSA, and we will have to sit down on a multi-agency approach to make sure that we get all the markets along our roads out of the immediate road reserve. And that can only be possible if we partner with the county governments and the national government to provide markets immediately or not very far from the road, so that people who are selling their produce to travelers can get the opportunity. We are ready as a ministry to provide access road. Yeah, we are ready to provide access road for the markets to be moved out, and for vehicles that are intended to buying produce or goods along the highway to have entry and exit to those markets. That way we will avoid such catastrophes. So in the shortest time possible, I don't want to issue any directive out of knee-jerk reaction. Based on the consultations we are going to make, the direction is to remove all, and I say without exception, all the markets from immediate road reserves. Because even if you see this road, there are stalls another almost 1 kilometer, on the sides of the road, up to there. And as I said, I need to emphasize, this is not peculiar to Londiani. Yeah, it is in the entire. If you go to Salama, if you go to Taita Taveta, if you go to Mariakani, even up to Mombasa, you will find the same phenomenon. It is something that has been with us for many years. because of course roads are good because they attract business. You know, they bring travelers, they bring people who are, but we will do everything to ensure that rest facilities and market stalls are removed from the road and provided for in strategic places along the road. Considering the financial situation we are in as a country, I believe this is a service that can be provided also through PPP. Markets can be built and leased out by private investors. We just need to identify and license them to run out those markets. Restrooms and resting facilities and places for, as already has been the case in along our roads, even when you go to Kikope or you come to Gilgil or other parts of the road, it's private sector that has built facilities for the lorries to be able to, and lorry drivers and trailer drivers to be able to take a rest. So we're going to do that with support of the private sector. I know many Kenyans are wondering, these things must be done immediately. We have a financial situation to deal with, and the best way to resolve this issue is partnership, and that partnership between national and county government and also the private sector will resolve this issue. The message I want Kenyans to know is that pursuant to this accident and considering the catastrophe that can occur along the road from Mombasa to Malaba, from Namanga to Nairobi and to Moyale and other places, we have to urgently work together to remove all the markets from the road reserve. Just imagine if there was nobody operating immediately along this road, that lorry would have fell here, and you know, the situation would have been mitigated. Maybe, sadly, you know, the driver or only one person could have been injured or two. But just imagine the situation we find ourselves as a result of this. We just have to remove people from the road. I know Kenyans, and I have had a lot of them saying that our ministry should have averted such accident. We will do the investigation, and thorough investigations, to know what caused the accident. We will do a very thorough investigations, and once we do so, we will take the necessary action. But we need our support, that soon when you hear us banning and tell Kenya we ban people from operating from all the road reserves, of course we'll give people due notice. But if you hear us tell the road agency, and especially Kenya National Highway Authority, to reclaim its road reserve and to make sure that nobody is operating immediately under the road, also let us receive your support. Because if we receive support of the people of Kenya, we will avert this situation. This is not a normal road accident. You know, this is not the kind of normal road accident where you say the matatu was unroadworthy, the police allowed unroadworthy vehicle to pass, or, you know, as people say, the car, you know, somebody was bribed, that's why enforcement was not done. This is not that kind of a normal kind of an accident. This is actually a disaster that has occurred as a result of an accident that perhaps could not have been too catastrophic, happening in an area where there is high operation of people. There is a rule in air, if landing of a vehicle, of an aeroplane does not happen as it should, at least we should avert catastrophe. We must apply that rule on our roads. We cannot have that number of people operating just next to high traffic and high risk vehicles plying our roads. I really need your support as the people of Kenya, because I will take the bold step. Yeah, some people will run for court orders. It's okay. I will also approach the same court, and we need the support of our courts on those decisions. And also, some people will try to resist it. I see people saying they are not going to test for driver. Why? Let's discuss the cost of testing. But you can't tell me, if you are a qualified driver, you can't tell me you are not going to take a test. Why? Because if you have been driving over 10 years, you are experienced. The test should be, nothing. What we are going to do is to make sure that those drivers are not going to be tested in a language that makes it difficult for them to communicate. You can test in Kiswahili, you can test in whatever language you want to test, but we want to make sure that all the drivers that are on our roads have been tested. We are going to roll out also testing of motor vehicles inspection, and we want to make sure that we roll out the motor vehicle inspection, and the program is in place. We've already announced that the NTSA will make sure that the all motor vehicles plying in our routes are also inspected. We must partner also under EAC to test and inspect vehicles that are international in nature. So we must find a way of making. When it comes to the motor vehicle inspection, we will need a big support from the East Africa community. This vehicle is Rwandese. The responsibility of its roadworthiness is not in our country. By East African laws, its roadworthiness is determined by the country of registration, which is Rwanda in this case. So we will need also support of our East Africa community partners when we roll out the motor vehicle inspection to determine their roadworthiness. I thank you very much. Unless there is someone who has a question, I appreciate you for your time and thank you for reporting. First, it will be very sad for me to conclude without saying this, that I want to thank the medical team that assisted, the emergency medical team that came here from the hospitals here and the hospitals in both Kericho and Nakuru County. I want to thank the Red Cross for their selfless sacrifice in every disaster that has happened in this country, including this one. I want to thank the national government agencies, the county commissioner, the police, the National Transport Authority, Safety Authority from my ministry, that is NTSA. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Kenya for their response. I want to thank the governors of both counties. Governor Susan was in continuous consultation with us. And mambo ya, wacha nianze kwanza kusema, barabara yetu ni moja ya barabara nzuri sana kwa nchi ya taifa la Kenya. Shida yenye tuko nayo sio uzuri wa barabara ama quality ya barabara. Ni kwamba tuko na magari mengi na msongamano inaongezeka. Kwa hivyo mpango wetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba ili kuondoa msongamano ya magari, lazima tuhakikishe kwamba tunajenga dual carriage kwa barabara zetu. Kwa sababu pia tunajua kwamba hatuna pesa za kutosha kujenzi, tumeamua ya kwamba tufanye kazi na waegezaji wa kibinafsi ili kwamba watusaidie kujenga barabara, waweke toll, alafu barabara itengenezwe. Tunaendelea kujadiliana na waegezaji kutoka nchi ya France ambao tumefikia kiwango fulani. Kuna mambo hatujakubaliana bado, na pia kuna waegezaji wengine wamejitambulisha kwamba wangetaka pia wao wakuwe katika kujenga barabara hizi. Ninajua ya kwamba ninawahakikishia Wakenya kwamba mpango yetu ya kudual barabara kutoka Mombasa mpaka Malaba bado inaendelea, na mtasikia habari hivi karibuni vile tutakuwa tumeafikiana na waegezaji ili kwamba barabara zetu siweze zikajengwa. Ile siwezi kubali ni kwamba hatutajenga kwa njia ambayo itawaachia Wakenya deni kubwa ama mzigo ambayo hatutaweza kubeba sisi wenyewe. Ndio unaona kwamba majadiliano hayo, nia yetu ilikuwa ni kuhakikisha kwamba tumekabiliana na pesa ambazo ni nyingi zenye zinaweza kuharibu uchumi wetu. Na pengine niseme tu kwa Kiswahili, ninapeana ujumbe wa pole kwa familia na marafiki ambao walipoteza wapendwa wao kulingana na ajali hii ambayo imefanyika hapa Londiani Junction. Pia ningesema kwamba hii ajali ingeepukika kama tungeweza kuondoa soko zote kwa barabara, kwa sababu unajua tuko na soko nyingi sana kutoka barabara kutoka Mombasa mpaka Malaba. Na ninawaomba na Wakenya kwamba tutakapotoa taarifa na policy ambayo itaondoa magari haya kutoka barabara, biashara haya kutoka barabara, ninaomba sana kwamba tusaidiane kushikana mkono kuhakikisha kwamba wawekezaji wa kibinafsi wajenge soko kando ya mbali na barabara, na county government watusaidie tukitafuta shamba na wawekezaji, na sisi tutahakikisha kwamba wale wamekuwa license watengeneze market stalls kando na barabara, ili tuepuke ajali kama haya ambayo kweli jameni imekuwa ni ajali ambayo imetuumiza sisi wengi sana. Asanteni sana na Mungu wa